Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm really happy to be able to sit down once again with my, you know what, friend from the first time, much better friend this time. Yeah. My friend Cap from Particl. Cap, thank you so much. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too, man.
So, listen, in real time, because we are live streaming this, it's a little different. So in real time, people have not actually seen the previous interview, right? Because we haven't put it on the internet.
Yeah.
But in the future, this interview will come out after the previous one, so they will be familiar with you. So, yeah, see what I'm saying? So we're just going to assume that the viewers we're just going to assume they know what Particl is and who you are. But super quick, man, just tell.
Okay. So my name's Dr. Cap. No, it's really Dr. Kapil Amarasinghe. Cap. Call me Cap. I'm one of the ambassadors for the Particl project. It's a e-commerce platform that basically allows you to buy and sell goods online with no logins, no sign-ups, and no personal information required ever. All you need to do when you're doing your buying and selling is just give a shipping address. That's it. And we've basically built this platform in such a way that it's completely safe, secure, fully anonymous, and we solve every single problem relating to, governance, bad actors, reputation, not background noise, unfortunately.
Not background noise.
Yeah.
Haven't put that on the blockchain yet.
Oh God, yeah. Tokenized background noise.
Tokenized background noise. But you guys have done a great job with the Particl platform, and you guys got a great team. I've had a chance to meet, a lot of you, and every single one of you is genuine and unique and friendly and a real person with a real story, and it's really cool to see a project like that, man.
Thank you. It is refreshing after the 2017-18 period. Oh God.
And so many, it's. What's so funny is I've been here and I've talked to a lot of projects, and it's, there's some really good projects out here and some really passionate people. Like I just got to talk to Charles, who's the founder of DLive, and it's a fantastic interview. You can tell that's somebody who cares about his platform.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a lot of guys, unfortunately though, over this week. Not the majority. I don't want to give a bad name, but I've talked to some people that you're like, "What are you here for?" And you don't see that fire in their eyes. They're like, "Yeah, just developing something. But, blockchain seemed like a good idea. And, this is where I'm trying to make money. I get it." But that's not a bad thing. They're bringing a product to market, and they have clients, and it will make the world a better place, maybe. But you guys got the fire, man. You guys got the real fire in your eyes.
Yeah. It's hard to say where that comes from, but it comes from a different place in each individual, and it's the collection of experiences and impacts they have in their lives, and the understanding of that brings them together. We're from a common collective. We believe in the same things without even knowing it, and we learnt them over time through our own hardships and experiences. Believe me, I was an asshole, a huge asshole at one point in my life, and I had to do a lot of unlearning of bad shit.
Yeah.
You pick up some very, I was thinking about the concept of parenting as I'm saying this. Your parents do the best job they can for you, but the best job you can do for yourself is to travel around and see what life is like and get as many experiences as possible. If you can see how the world works by throwing yourself into as many different places without necessarily any preconceived notions of how they are or how they should be, but just to see them for how they are and why they are, and to just listen to them. And there are so many stories and experiences that you can learn that could really make a change in your life if you're willing to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I believe that. I grew up lower the economic spectrum, and I had good parents, man. I had good parents, and they did the best they could for me. But it wasn't until I was a little asshole, man. I really was, dude. It wasn't until I got out and I traveled around the United States. I graduated high school early. I dropped out of college, went back, ended up finishing my degree, but I dropped out to travel and do what I wanted. And that's how I became who I ultimately am today, man. You see things from a different perspective. And every time I go on a journey or go on an adventure or go on a trip, you can ask anybody that I travel with or hang out with. I just go up to people and I talk and I engage and I'm interested, and I'm definitely the guy where people, I guess as guys, they're like, just go talk to that person. yeah, I'm already there. Like, you know, talking to them and them and them and them and them and them. I'm just interested, you know. And so it's people, man.
Dude, I get it. Any job or any way you can make your life where you just get to listen to people and hear about and learn about them, that's the way you learn about the world. That's actually the way you learn about everything. People mistake an education for being in school. You know, I see kids way younger than me who actually are really smarter than me. By the way, can I give a quick shout out to Dre King?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You know, I met a guy I was speaking to just before this interview, you know, Ned Saleh from Sinsal. Those, you know, the people, anyway, as long as you don't have biases, you can see the world for what it is.
Yeah.
And I think too many people, and this is a thing that I found in my life, and this is over 9 years of practicing medicine and over everything really, is that every individual, every person comes to the room and they have their own set of biases, whether they're conscious or unconscious, and that affects the way they view the world. But the minute that you can get rid of them and just go, okay, fine, that's when you can see the world for what it really is. The moment you're willing to just take in information from all sources without being horrified or scared, but just really listening to why do people do things? Why do people, and that way our relationships can be better, that way people can be more honest with each other, they can be more honest with themselves. That's so important, you know. I never used to be as honest with myself as I am now. It was an evolutionary process, right? But that's what gets you to where you want to go in life. You get me?
I'm a little, you know, I depends on what I ate yesterday and who I talked to. You know,
Oh, yeah,
maybe a little
that too.
maybe a little more honest today.
Yeah.
A little more dishonest today, but in a general,
On an
very
overall
nicely
tangent of
right.
things.
Yeah, just on an overall upward
Because
arc
sometimes
to
you're
being
going to
a
meet
better person.
people and it's going, okay, right, you know.
But this really isn't working out right.
Yeah, it's cool. And sometimes exactly what you said. It's like yesterday, the same guy with Ned. I was like so tired and hungry and angry. And I was listening to him, and I was listening to his project. He was talking to me. You should get this guy on, by the way, because what he's doing is really interesting. So it's oh man, I don't even want to spot. I wish he was here because I'd just get him on.
Yeah.
You should do an interview with him. Ned from Sinsal, just find this guy, I'll get you in touch. I'm actually going to join his advisory.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. Make sure to give me some contact information.
What
We'll see if
they're
we can do something
doing
remotely.
is what they're doing, I think, if you listen to them, I think that could really revolutionize medical research. Everything medical. I don't want to get too much into details, but what he's doing is fascinating. But yesterday, I was speaking to him, and I was tired, hangry, and it was one of those things where, you know, you just said something and you latch onto it and you let all your butt and then you go, and actually I slept on it, and I was like, actually, if you think about everything he said as a whole, you know, because sometimes you'll just listen to an entire conversation. So I met him on 3 occasions, so just now, yesterday, day before that, right? So the first time I heard his whole project, it was like, wow. And the second time I got caught up on a detail and it almost put me off, right? But then I said to him, you know what? I am hungry and I am tired, and you're right, I am. And I went to sleep. But before, I woke up. I got woken up. My wife, she flew in last night, and then her phone went off at 4 a.m. from some random, you know. Anyway, I woke up. I was like, oh, because you sleep, and it's like, I was thinking, you know what? I really like this project. I think it could work, and and I was like, okay. Now when I approach you, I'm just gonna listen. And I realized, and then I was like, when I listened, I was like, you know what? Everything about your project is perfect to me. Everything you've said, it makes sense. Your only problem is going to be doctors. Funnily enough, for a healthcare project with massive healthcare implications, his only problem is going to be doctors.
You were making the music go off of me, man. Like, you are so beautiful to me. But the doctors are holding it back. Why?
So you're gonna have to.
Or will. I don't want.
They will. Not all of them. Some of them. So the way they've been trained to see medicine, and listen, you know, most doctors, they don't understand economics, they don't understand blockchain, they don't understand AI. I'm talking specifically about healthcare doctors, not PhDs, right?
Right.
But most medical doctors, they're not polymaths. They just really understand their thing. It's why you've got specialties in medicine, microbiology, immunology, renal, endocrinology. You name a system, there's a specialist in that field, right? So they're just really deeply into their thing. But you ask most doctors about other stuff, they don't know about it.
Economics, politics, environmentalism,
Pretty
humanitarianism.
much. And the thing is, it's a shame, because they're smart people at the end of the day, but the lifestyles they lead, the way they've been boxed in, it's a bit complex, but so if you look at the UK, the working conditions there, if you were, can I tell you a few honest things about me, right?
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
happy. So oh man, my workplace may hate me for this after, but I'll just be up front.
Let's get them.
All right, well, so I work in the UK, right? I'm not going to name my hospital, but if you look me up, you're going to figure it out anyway. Now, eventually, they're going to hear all this, right? So I'm just going to be really upfront. In the UK, I work full-time as an A&E doctor. I'm a specialty doctor, and what that means, the role that I have in my department, okay, not quite a consultant, which is the highest level.
Okay.
I'm kind of a step below that, is in like this nebulous in between, where a lot of the consultants respect my level of clinical knowledge highly, okay? Won't go into the full details. I've actually worked longer than some of the very junior consultants. I took a very odd path to get to where I am, so I'm here. Now, to give you an idea of my level, at night time, I am I'm the guy that can be literally put in charge of the shop floor after the consultants have left. So between, say, the hours of 2 a.m. and 8 a.m., which used to be a quiet period, by the way, but nowadays can be a very busy period, So really, in order to do that job, you need to have...
Especially during San Francisco Blockchain Week. I mean, these crypto kids are just crazy, man. They're just up to all hours of the night with their ping pong and their...
Yeah, and they're free dudes, man, those blockchain parties, free, everything, open, everything. You'll never get that at a medical conference. This should be the incentive for doctors to sit up and take notice. You get the best of everything here.
Yeah, you really do.
You have the best minds. I'm not knocking you guys, right? And honestly, you have all of those problems that you wanted to solve if you're a healthcare doctor, all the social problems that you see. Every solution that you're potentially, every time you've ever felt, I really wanted to change something, but I don't feel empowered or I feel powerless because of the circumstances that have been thrown into me. So let me put this to you, right? If I work full-time in the NHS as an A&E doctor at that level of seniority where they'd leave me to run the department, i.e. at night time as a senior clinician consultant, I'd phone him if there's a real problem. That's usually the decision making. I'm good enough, I don't ever need to, So if I'm that, and this is accident and emergency medicine, ER, Holby City in the UK, that stuff. You've got resus units that are constantly full. You've got a 6-bay resus. Resus, by the way, sickest patients, the people are practically at death's door. Half the time you're spending, you're trying to manage 8 patients, and then you got more in a 6-bed resus, and you got, they pay me like, what, the equivalent of $70,000 per year? No offense, I mean, if you look at economic consensus and the sense of inequality or the sense of jadedness, because 10-hour shifts, 48 hours a week, but it's add the commutes in, all this stuff, and you never see your family, you're always working irregular hours, one day you're working 10 a.m. to 6 a.m., the other day you're working 12 midday to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're constant, so you're in this situation where you don't have time for anything, you just have time for your job.
Yeah.
If you're a trainee, you're then being moved from hospital to hospital for about 5 years, right?
Educate yourself, you can't better yourself, you can't.
It's hard to get outside your box because you're so boxed into what you're doing. And then after you finish that, you're so used to it, you kind of patterned yourself from a behavioral point of view. So then you go down your specialty route and yada yada. It's so easy to become isolated. You know what I mean? I feel that's the thing that happens to people in all layers of life. We all just become isolated. You know, we can self-isolate. It's something we have to perpetually be aware of. And it goes back to the beginning of what I'm saying. You know, we think we're smart, but we're not. We can only ever, you get what I mean? I was about to say we can only ever truly be smart when we think we're stupid.
Right.
But not quite, you know what I mean?
I think it's more like, well, I don't know if this is, it seems like, you know, I know this isn't true at all times, but it's thought like often, you know, it's often, you know, you find the solution for the problem you're trying to solve when you're not actively looking for it, right?
Yeah.
And when you're actively looking for it, all you tend to find are dead ends.
That's exactly how I came into blockchain, by the way.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for it. It literally showed up in my Google News feed, like an article on Ethereum by Varuni Vera. She wrote one in Vox 2016, and I had experiences of doing business and stuff before, but I recognized the value potentially of an ecosystem like that. And
Thank you, Ben.
you know, as you said, that's completely true, on point. You just have to be who you are. And I think so many people spend time trying to be people that they don't want to be, that they get a bit stuck in themselves and a bit lost. And getting out of that is what's hard, because you have to let go. And it's not always easy. You've got circumstances, you've got bills, you've got so many different things that are making that jump. You know, and not everyone gets the opportunity. Not everyone has the luck. You know, loads of people have misfortune. You know, we are very lucky to be here, to be where we are right now. All those steps of luck that happened, yeah, okay, we had the opportunity and we took them, but we were lucky at so many points in our lives in ways we didn't even know. Thanks, man. I know that resonates with you. Without, as goes back to what I said at the beginning, we connect in so many ways.
Yeah. It's good to meet a like soul, man.
Give me a hug.
So what's next for Cap? Where are you headed from here?
Oh my God, I don't know. So I'm definitely joining up with the Synsal guys. I want them to work together with the Particl guys. So we'll need to obviously talk about that, and I need to speak with the other guys, but I think they'll love them. I think they'll love them.
It'll just be
Yeah.
bloody fantastic.
You know, the guys with Dre King really like them. Joe, yeah, man, everything was. There are people I've met here today, and it's like I said in my talk at Consensus. I did a talk on the industry stage. I want us to bring people together. You know, I want us to. I'm a believer in this, right? I think if you can be. There are two ways of looking at the world, right? I believe you can be truly successful if you are selfless. It's hard. It's harder than being.
It's really hard.
It's harder than being selfish. It is easy to be. It can be easy-ish to be selfish and there are plenty of people in the world. There is. Being selfless and successful is hard. You ultimately have to keep doing it because that's. Is it fair to say that's where the truest happiness lies? I don't know. There's always a uncertainty at every stage.
I always thought that I'm the happiest when I'm doing a task well that I'm really good at.
Yeah.
You know? Or when I get a lot of pleasure from seeing, I think this is why people like streaming so much, right? Like gaming, streaming, and all other kind of streaming. You know, like a lot of people from our generation, you know, we're like, oh, why do these kids want to watch people watch video games, blah, blah. Because when you like something, you enjoy, it gives you pleasure to see that thing done well by a master, right? Like, you know, that's why people go to, you know, masters to learn karate, and why people go to teachers to learn skills. Like, it's pleasurable to watch something, especially that you care about, done well by the hands of a master. So when I feel that when I'm in that flow mode, when I'm doing what I was put here on earth to do, and very, very well, that's
Can I give you a good story there?
peak happiness. Other things are well, it's because other things are transitory for me, right? Like when I was younger, like I thought it would be, either alcohol or maybe drugs or a relationship or something like that. And that stuff does bring pleasure and happiness, but often not long-lasting and sustainable. With the one exception there, maybe of a relationship, But that's tricky though, It's, many try.
It requires work.
Many try, many fail, So a huge shout out to people like you who are crushing it on that.
Thanks,
on that
dude.
aspect, man. So.
Have you ever heard of the concept of eudamonia?
No, tell me.
I think it's, first, I'll tell you where I learned it from, because that's what's interesting. You ever play a game called Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri?
I know Sid Meier. I haven't played.
It was one of the Civilization spin-offs. It's the
Civilization,
least well-known one, but it was the most significant because it was written by a guy called,
It was a space tactical strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it.
I love it. It's one of the most significant games. It shaped me. I've played it 3 times in 3 different eras of my life. The last time I played it was about 6 months ago, and it was, at that time I was playing it because I was, you pick a faction and each has its own ideology, but there's an underlying narrative built into the tech tree that doesn't exist in the standard Civilization games. So when you play it, it was written by Brian Reynolds, who's he studied philosophy at Cambridge, I think. Anyway, this guy, he basically wrote a narrative into the Civilization game, into this version of Civilization, where you explore future tech and its social and moral and ethical implications. This isn't in the regular Civ games. This is the Civ game to play.
Is the cutting edge. Yeah.
But it was released 20 years ago, and they've never really re-released it as it was. They should have just, for a new generation. I've always wanted to say this is the game that has helped define me, right? Because I look at it and I just go, I see all the ways humanity could be. I can see all the various geopolitical conflicts in our modern era played out. You know what I mean? You hear me because you've played this. If you go to a website, if you type in Paean to SMAC, P-A-E-A-N, Paean.
Oh. Yeah, I know the word. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah.
Paean to SMACC. Google this. This guy had written a whole website where he just wrote essay after essay. And I just discovered it accidentally on my 3rd time, and it just gave me a whole new way of playing it, because it was like, okay, I can see that as long as we continue to build technology, it will always overcome, the ascent to transcendence. Technology will always overcome political ideology. It will always overcome religion. It will always overcome biases.
I think so often it gets downplayed, because we think of human beings for their rational features or maybe for their emotional features, but humans are the tool makers. Human beings, the tool makers.
These guys are going to break down and cry.
And I remember this is such a both lame and amazing example. But one time I was
He's reading. Don't read this.
But one time I was something fell underneath the car.
Yeah.
And everybody was trying to get this thing up underneath the car. They're reaching underneath there. It's like, guys, we're human beings. I grabbed a broom. I pushed the thing out. Use a tool.
Yeah.
Use a tool. Just push it up underneath the car. I don't gotta reach under there like a monkey.
Yeah. You should be up on here.
Sometimes I do.
Hey,
man.
Ben. That's my mind right there.
Oh my God, I'm so. Thank you, by the way. I don't know what to say, man. It's I just want more people to play that game. By the way, Deus Ex. That was another huge game for me. That was the pre.
I didn't end up playing that one. That was right around the time where my PC just wasn't up to the standards of PC games at the time.
If you get a chance, play the original Deus Ex. Yeah, come on, man. Let's just get your chair, dude.
First of all.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Hey, might as well get you guys in here too.
You guys go. We gotta run the back end, bro. Okay. It's fair enough.
Just make sure you talk and into Justin's device.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Just
can do that.
lean into me closely when you speak.
Yeah, so as I was saying, man, Deus Ex, I played it before I played Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri.
Okay.
And, for me, it's worth playing that just for the story again, the narrative, because it's more focused and, it had the sequels and stuff, but it was really interesting. There was this concept that mankind would one day basically build this super intelligent computer, and the protagonist, he's given a choice, right? You can either merge with it, shut every tech down, kind of stop it and join the Illuminati and stuff. But I always wound up picking the merge with it option, right? Because you always want us to ascend.
Yeah, it seems like if you were to create something like that, and then, I don't know, to destroy something like that would be just such an awful act.
It would be a loss.
Yeah, I mean, I could see for like practical reasons why someone might want to do it, but it would be ultimately, I think, due to limited perspective.
Very
you think
much
like,
so.
This maybe what human beings have going on at the time, like the status quo, is going pretty good. I mean, it could be a perfectly fine status quo, but and to leave that for like the devil that you don't know of this ascension, which will have its own problems, I'm sure. Certainly when we climbed down out of the trees, hadn't been all peaches and cream, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? So this is what's interesting. We, as humans, are doing controlled evolution now.
Yes.
We're leading it. Everyone thinks evolution's this is for you guys if you never thought about it. You've thought this through, and I can see it, but it's just the idea that we're in charge of our own evolution now. We're building the tools. We're no longer, evolution was always identified as this passive process that happens through sex. People breed and then genetics, yada yada. But then we got to a stage, and this is actually where consciousness evolved, where, holy shit, we were building tools, and then we built tools of tools, and tools of other tools, and then we used it, and that created a feedback loop where those of us who understood how to do this process would go on to reproduce and recreate, and it was this weird dynamic. And now we're at such a stage where we're building tools and tools and tools that are physically evolving. At work, I always say to my colleagues, 100 years ago, if you took a Victorian from 100 years ago and time traveled them here, this world would be a fucked up place for them. Because they'd look at a mobile phone and go, how do you think? Like their brain, the way they process tools is going to be so different.
Sorcery.
Exactly. A great unlearning is going to have to occur for them, as in they're going to have to get rid of so many. They'll look at the world socially, economically, and then you're going to be like, okay. And this is what I was going back to. You have to unlearn stuff, your own biases that you picked up from that era, before you can embrace the technology and the ethics and the mindset and the morals around you. You get what I mean?
Maybe that's why we don't see any time travelers. Maybe it's just too jarring. Maybe it's not even like that. It's just like, whoa, the past really sucks. I don't even want to go there.
I'm good.
They did a time travel, immediately went to the future.
They still had to use dish. They still had to use dish soap back then.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable.
Yeah. I am amazed Marty McFly lasted 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real.
Thinking about it, the way you just put it,
Yeah, I mean, he's wearing that. He's wearing the vest, and everybody's like, "Were you a sailor? What are you wearing?" It's gosh, did they even have like nylon and other synthetic fibers back in the 50s and stuff like that? What he must have been wearing was just like, what is that?
Yeah. I mean, I think they had nylon. Yeah, I don't know.
If they did, it must have been brand new.
Listen, we got smart people around here. Is there a engineer somewhere around here? Any history of engineering?
Is there a petroleum or petroleum product based engineer in the house? Or propane based accessories.
Propane and propane based accessories.
Great stuff.
All right, guys, listen, we got to be wrapping it up here pretty soon.
Okay.
All right, where's Ben at? I was going to get him in here for the sign-off.
I know, right?
Come on in, Scott. Come in for the sign-off, man.
Give him a second to come back.
Hey, listen, it's been, sorry, final words, please.
Just check out that consensus talk, because I'm sure it'll get released, and that kind of goes over it. We were originally going to do the whole
You talking about the talk you gave at 11:30?
Yeah. Check that out.
You can check that out on DLive, and it's probably on YouTube. It's probably uploaded to YouTube. But I know DLive was streaming the entire thing from DLive's official account. So make sure you guys go watch Particl's presentation, the consensus report.
What were your highlights that make you the most excited, man? I definitely want to at least mention those.
Okay, so it's our partner, our special relationship with Spend.com. So basically, you know about them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they have banking partners in Asia, Europe, Canada, the States. They're pretty much all over. They're really well connected, have a huge vendor network, right? Now, they've basically formed a relationship with us. Their president, Brian Woods, is coming on as one of our advisors. They would like to use us, they'd like to use a lot of our services and integrate them into their platform. So they basically got a debit and credit card banking facilities where you can hold multiple cryptocurrencies and multiple fiat currencies in one card, effectively your account, and then you can interchange between them in your card. And this is a credit debit card with Visa.
Are there
pretty cool,
conversion
man.
fees within card? Like if like I want.
Their fees
similar
are
to-
going to be dramatically lower than anyone else's, partly through the power of their connections. And I urge you to read up on them and find out more. If we can get Brian Woods down here to talk, which I would like to, and I think he would, I think he'd like that, because he understands the power of crypto.
Yeah.
And he comes from the old school payment processing world, but he's very forward looking. So when I say this guy's connected, you go to any everyone knows this guy. Everyone.
Interesting.
And to have him come on board with us and to believe in us and to want to integrate and merge our services the way he's envisioning, and this isn't all going to happen at once. So you just got to take your time and expect things in stages.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Fisher.
You heard it here first. Particle, Q1, all features released.
You know the funniest thing right now? I'm gonna do a bit of a Justin Sun, right? This token, the PART token, it trades for like $1.14. You can buy it on HitBTC and Bittrex. And the only reason I say this is if you really do your deep dives, you're gonna see the model in action. That's all. Just do your deep dives, people. I mean, everything I've done for the Particl project and everything I hope I can continue to do, I will do for free. And that means for everyone, right? When I'm really passionate about it, I've worked so many overtime shifts on top of what I normally do just to make things happen for people. If you really deep dive my history, I'm bringing people out the woodwork that will tell you the story. I don't want to go too far.
Dude, you're overtime right now just for us, brother. I much appreciate it.
Dude,
His team took off a little bit ago.
He's like, I'm gonna
Just
stay
for us,
around,
man.
yeah.
Like,
to do the
That's why
detour
they call the cap.
to do the detour we have to get you in to have this discussion about SMAC, that's doing a service to humanity. And that's all I care about. At the end of the day, we can move forward as a species, as I said, if we can just, give or try to give when we can. You don't want to overextend yourself because you don't want to harm yourself in giving. You just want to, I'm very lucky. I know I just bitched and moaned about my base pay, but that's why I work as a freelancer, because right now, conditions in the NHS, there's such a shortage of doctors and such a demand, especially in accident and emergency in the UK, and such a demand that the overtime rates in the NHS, even though you're still working for the NHS, are obscene compared to the base pay. And why that is due fundamentally to bad management systematically from a top going down every layer.
Yeah.
And, that's bad management. And all of this can be solved. By the way, Silicon Valley, those solutions are emerging. Right here, where we've been this week, I'm seeing a lot of stuff that's going to change a lot of everything.
I mean, if you distributed it, if you think about it, a distributed autonomous organization can't be worse than bureaucracy. I mean, it might not be perfect, but I think
Anything's got to
than
be
government
better than
bureaucracy.
this shit.
I know.
Because I mean, the problem isn't the doctors, and the problem isn't socialized healthcare. The problem is the execution thereof, involving, of course, government bureaucracy. Because who else is gonna blah blah blah? But who else? Maybe a distributed autonomous organization, perhaps run partially or like hosted by a government of some kind. Who knows what's gonna look like.
fine. No,
Yeah.
the way I see it is this, right? These distributed organizations, rather, it's like serving your self-interests, yet serving everyone at the same time. That's what these blockchain, this is what these underlying technologies we're here to today do. Rather than serve self-interest in a selfish manner, it serves self-interest in a selfless manner.
Yeah, it's like it's trustless because I know you're gonna do it because it's good for you to do it.
But it's good for
Yeah.
me at the same time.
course, yeah.
Everything works for each other. We did a very quick discussion earlier. I was saying, if you want to be a speculator, global market caps in the trillions. The scene we're in now is going to make it in the quintillions and the unimaginable billions. And that's why, even if you're a selfish speculator,
Yeah.
you should take your time to learn about this technology and learn how it can change your mindset. Is it can change you. If you understand this technology, it can change you fundamentally. And that's why I believe in it. And that's why I want every single one of you to believe in it. When Elizabeth Holmes, head of Theranos, said, "I'll change the world," she's bullshitting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a scene. I don't get paid by the Particl Foundation. Let me make that super clear. If anything, I paid them when I bought the part tokens and became a speculator. But if I'm out here paying for my own flights, okay, not the Airbnb, they
Not the
cover it.
Airbnb, but
yeah. But if I'm out here and I'm volunteering my free time for their organization, that means something works. And I mean not just me, I mean everyone that was here with me today. And you'll find you guys, everyone that comes here, they're doing it out of passion. You think about that. What can make people do that? Learn about, understand.
Psilocybin.
Yeah. That's gonna be my 20s. In my 20s,
In my 20s.
I learned about synesthesia.
That's a good place to end, man. A strong call.
See you
Cap,
later,
thank you so
everybody.
much, man.
No worries, dudes.
Shout out to you and Particl, my man Scott,
Particl.
Alex,
Let me
and
just
shout out
the
to
man behind the
Erlof.
scene.
Oh yeah.
Without Erlof and
Yeah.
Gloria. Erlof and Gloria were also amazing people. Without them,
Dude, the whole team.
we wouldn't be here. Thank you so much, Team
Thank
Particl.
everyone.
Team Particl.
Cheers, guys. Have a great night. Trade safely.
All right.